Hello everybody and welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the Tuath Irish Whiskey Glass. Now this glass is new for 2019 and it just came out a couple of months ago, and something about it spoke to me. I thought that maybe I would actually try this. Now you guys that have watched the channel for a while know that I don't usually review glasses. No real reason except that most of them are just gimmicks and it's kind of not worth your time or mine. So this one spoke to me though. I thought I would order it. I know that Irish whiskey, obviously Irish Whiskey Month, but also just Irish whiskey's having a resurgence, and this particular glass is trying to make something of that. It's trying to kind of push forward the idea of the people of Ireland. And even Tuath it's got a pretty cool etymology, and I looked it up for this episode. So basically, back in ancient Ireland, you would have groups of people. There'd be like 30 people to a dwelling. And every dwelling would be in this area with about 100 other dwellings. And all of those dwellings together would group up with other areas of dwellings to just have thousands of people. And all of these people would have their own governing body. And just this whole mass of people would be referred to as a Tuath. And it's basically a governing body that is written up and agreed upon by all members that are within it to help further the whole group. So I thought that was a cool concept for the name of a glass. Oh well. So thing that really matters is, what does the glass do? Why bother having it, and what makes this special? So let me talk to you about a couple of the features of this glass, and then I have a surprise. So 3 things. Number 1, you probably noticed I'm holding this weird. There is a little thing here that you can hold, so you don't have to hold the bottom of the glass. Now a lot of times the bottoms of glasses, if you're holding them for a long time, let's say you're at a party or if you're just kind of hanging out or whatever, you're going to be warming up your whiskey. Now it doesn't make a huge difference, especially if you're drinking several of them, but some people's palates are sensitive enough to pick up on the warmth of a whiskey that your hand will give it. Myself included, honestly. I know that sounds a little ridiculous, but I've had that absolutely affect the flavor of my whiskey before. So I like this a lot. Now the reason that this is here, other than just to keep your hand off of the glass, is it makes it a little easier to drink. And unlike a Glencairn, where oftentimes you're kind of tilting your head up a bit, this doesn't require that. It's got this nice wide base, and it's taller than Glencairn, but the way that you hold it is a little different, and so you can totally drink and still look ahead. So doing live streams, for example, it makes it much easier, and I can actually continue to look at the camera. So that's another thing. Now at the top, you've got kind of what you would expect. You've got a flared out top, which is designed to concentrate the aromas around the neck and then let them flow outside here. So this is going to eliminate some of the burn that you'll sometimes get when you're nosing, but it has yet to see how it's really going to affect. So like I said, I'm doing kind of this special thing. I wanted to do, for the first time here, I have not done this yet, I wanted to kind of do a little test. So I have some Napog Castle. I know what this smells like, and I figured I would do a control. So I've got my kind of tumbler glass here. I've got my tried and true Glencairn, and then I have the brand new Tuath. So I'm poured enough in each one of these that I think this would be what I would normally pour for myself. I'll put those aside for the moment and just kind of work on the control, see what I can get off the nose on this, just to see how it's improved among the other 2 glasses, because I would assume it'll be improved over a tumbler. So let's go ahead and nose this. Okay, so the Napog Castle, I'm not going to do a formal review here, but I will just say that I'm picking up a lot of fruits. And in a tumbler, maybe you're not getting all of the nuances of those fruits. To me, this just smells kind of like a fruity Irish whiskey. Maybe I'm picking out a little bit of apple in there and maybe a little bit of peach. All right, so let's put that to the side. Let's go with the tried and true Glencairn. So a much more concentrated aroma, leaning a lot more towards the peach on this one. Apple is such a typical thing to smell that when I smell something besides apple, that's where I know I'm really getting to know the whiskey. So in this case, I do get a little bit of that apple, but the peach is really sticking out, and then there's just this undertone of honey. So you're getting a lot more definition out of the Glencairn. All right, now let's go ahead and go with the Tuath. Very similar to the Glencairn, except that things are a little bit more muted. I'm still getting a lot of the same notes that I would get, but none of them are quite as strong, which I believe is the intent here. You know, when you allow it to flow out the sides, or, you know, a little bit wider like this, things aren't as concentrated. And this would matter if you had a higher proof whiskey. Now, there aren't too many cask strength Irish whiskeys out there compared to non-cask strength. And, you know, that's kind of by virtue of there not being just a ton of different types of Irish whiskeys. But I don't know that cask strength is so much of a problem here. So I guess what I would say is that this is equivalent to a Glencairn, if not slightly worse, but where it has a benefit is that ability to drink and kind of like still look forward, and it has a way heavier or you can pour a way heavier pour and not have to get up or whatever. So you can fit a lot more in here without, you know, kind of having to, you know, pour over and over and over again. So I don't know that that's like a super big plus, but I'm more just pointing out differences and what their benefit might be. I'm not totally sold on this glass, especially because it's like $17 a glass. So I think I bought two for $35. I don't know. I like having gear. I like the idea that this is an Irish whiskey glass, and I will probably use this throughout Irish Whiskey Month and with doing my reviews. But when I'm taking my notes, I think I'm gonna stick with the Glencairn. So that does it for this episode of the Whiskey Dictionary. I give this kind of a pass unless you're just interested in having gear, in which case maybe buy one, maybe buy two, see what you think of them. Maybe you have a different opinion. And now I know that you guys are all wondering about the whiskey coins. They do fit. They're just not super tight. So they do fit. Not as well as on the Glencairn. But anyway, thank you for joining me here on the Whiskey Dictionary. Have a great rest of your night. Cheers.